boots on. Play my favorite country song. Burn that fire till the wood's all gone. Burn that fire till the wood's all gone. Keep it bright till the break of dawn. Don't be sad if I am gone. Just bury me with my boots on. When I die and when I'm gone, bury me with my boots on. Play my favorite country song. Burn that fire till the wood's all gone. Be it gun or be it rope, be it free from pain, I hope. And if it be when I am old, just bury me with my boots on. When I die and when I'm gone, bury me with my boots on. Play my favorite country song. Burn that fire till the wood's all gone. This is where I was born and raised. This is where I'll end my days. And Jesus lays me in my grave. I pray that I'll be saved, and that I lived in a way that makes those around me proud to say, when I die and when I'm gone, bury me with my boots on. Play my favorite country song. Burn that fire till the wood's all gone. When I die and when I'm gone, bury me with my boots on. Don't be sad if I am gone. Just burn that fire till the wood's all gone.
Welcome to the EdgeStream, the edgiest live show I know. The following show is a satire, and all characters appearing are fictitious in nature. Any resemblance to real persons living or dead are purely coincidental. Narcs are not welcome. Viewer suicide is advised.
I heard the fuck boys they wanna. I finished up the. I guess the niggas heard that I'm edgy. I guess they all heard that I'm edgy.
You edgy. You're now tuned in to the edgiest guy I know.
Welcome everybody to the EdgeStream. Good to be back every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. EST. How are you all doing? I'm doing good. I'm with a special guest tonight. I see he's not appearing up where he's supposed to be. So,
where am
I? You're in the darkness there, but don't worry, I'll get you appearing. Today I have a special guest. His name is the Slippin Lizard. So I'll get you up there right now. There you are, buddy. See ya. It says your name is Alex, so I don't know why the fuck you're.
Really?
Yeah, your name is coming up as Alex. So
Alex, yeah. I don't know how to fix that. I don't know. You're using. It's a special. I don't know. How do you fix it?
An alias. Yeah.
Alias. It's an alias. That's it.
Yes.
Alexis. That's it. Alexis. Oh, okay. The world famous Russell Brand fame. Yeah. No shit.
What's going on? Oh yeah, the world famous
Yeah.
Slippin Lizard, as pronounced by Russell Brand.
That's it.
Oh, Slippin Lizard in
Mr.
Trevely.
Slippin Lizard in Trevely.
Just for context there, Russell Brand mentioned Slippin Lizard, our guest here, in Trevely.
Let's see if I can fix it.
While analyzing a propaganda video made by CBC or CTV, trying to paint the Trucker Freedom Convoy as a potential January 6th terrorist insurrection. So, it was very funny to see Russell Brand making fun of the CBC, trying to cite Slippin Lizard as the face of, the Canadian insurrection.
Yep.
So
That's I'm the dude. Can I say I'm the dude? I don't
So
know.
we're having some people asking about entropy.
It's not working.
Yes, it's not working.
No, it's not working.
No, it's not. Okay, well,
No.
it says there's 3 watchers here, and I see some comments coming through. I'm gonna refresh it.
Yeah, let's see.
Are you sure? Because it's working for me.
It wasn't working for me. I tried.
Okay, we'll give it another shot.
Let me give it another go.
I would say,
No, video unavailable. Playback on other website has been disabled by the video owner. Watch on YouTube.
okay, what?
I see
Are
the
you
comments.
serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that in the comments. There's some bullshit going on. Okay, so I'm gonna give it one more try because it does do this to me sometimes. So I'm gonna log out and I'm gonna log back in.
See what you can do. Fix your shit, man.
The thing is, because entropy, you could say the N-word and they won't censor you. Like,
oh, really?
If you're a mod on YouTube, you could see how many things they censor. It's like, bro, really?
Oh yeah, it's insane. It's
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
Okay, I have an idea.
Backflips.
Hold on. Yeah, you want to entertain the chat for a second while I get entropy going?
Sure, man. No problem. I don't know. It's my first time. Hi, Colbert's mom.
Well,
Misfit. What's going on? Jim
Misfit
Simple.
in the chat.
Misfit's still there. Yeah. He says no booze and no weed because it's a weeknight. Fucking pussy. The chat is working. Yeah, the chat's working fine on entropy, but not the video.
Okay. I see.
Hey, what's up, Jiggy Poe?
Colbert's mom is saying that she sees herself in the videos.
She did. She was there.
Yeah, was she throwing on some boots there?
Yeah, it was fucking wild. Yeah. Was that in Greg Arcade's? It was during the song, so I'm assuming that Greg Arcade.
Yeah, near the end. Yeah.
Yeah, near the end. Caught me off guard. I'm like, what the fuck? I thought I was having a fucking LSD flashback there for a second. I'm like, what the fuck?
I think she's sending me a message. She wants to knock boots with me.
No. Oh yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Dream on, bud. Dream on, buddy.
No, I don't do single mothers. Okay, I don't do single
buddy.
mothers. We've already established. You can't handle.
Do you know what it is?
No single moms. Colbert.
No. Do you know what it is?
I don't want to raise that little.
He doesn't want the responsibility. He doesn't want the responsibility of Colbert. That's all it is. He just doesn't want the responsibility of Colbert. He's a problem child. He's got that kid's a problem child. That's what it is. What do we got here? No tinfoil traders? What the fuck? Good times. What's up? Jim Simple. Is this the true Great Reset? Eggers. Hashtag Great Revolt. Ooh, I like the Great Revolt. That's nice. I like that one. I keep OS in my bank always. Okay. Precious metals and cryptos, says Doug.
All right. We got a new entropy chat going.
You got it going? All right. I'm checking your shit now. I'm checking your shit.
Yeah.
Gonna refresh it.
Make sure it's good.
Refresh. And you're there. We're live on Entropy. Live.
There we go.
There we go. Very good. Now I can. Yay! I like it.
All right.
See if I can get this shit.
Now there's a lot of developments going on.
Tons.
I mean, it seems like we are winning, and the effects of these protests of the last 2 or 3 weeks, I think it's a direct effect of our protests that they are lifting a lot of these mandates and restrictions. Though, we want them all gone, obviously, and we want them to never be able to do that again, to not have the capability to do what they've already done. We already know it's against our charters of rights and freedoms and whatever safeguards were put in place that they just trampled all over before. But at least we could see that it's working, and it's bittersweet because as of March 1st, the vaccine passport in Ontario, so for us, has been lifted. So that means that I can go to the gym again. I could go to restaurants. I could do all this stuff. So that makes me kind of happy, but I also feel for the wider movement that we can't let the pressure off yet. So there's a lot to talk about there. We can look at throughout the provinces to see how each province has responded to all these ongoing protests and where they're at with lifting restrictions, and then where it is at an international stage, and Trudeau's War Measure Acts, obviously. Some of the stuff that went on in Coutts, Windsor, Peterborough. I know we have some false flag situations potentially with lots of weapons being uncovered. Not a lot of answers. A lot of weapons, a lot of bullshit going on, but not a
Lots
lot
of bullshit.
Yeah,
lots
not
of
a lot of answers.
lots of bullshit. You're getting the whiffs of the bullshit coming in. Definitely.
Right. The shit wins, yes. And
Shit wins.
yeah, and bank accounts being frozen. So
Yes.
you have to understand that when it comes on cracking down protests, they want to restrict freedom of movement and financial freedom and the freedom to support who you please. That is something that's coming down the pipeline, and I think these whole situations here might be setting a precedent for that. And then later on in the stream, we're going to get on to this documentary made by the British BBC documentarian Louis Theroux on Nicholas Fuentes, one of the leading conservative young voices on the right in the right-wing movement for America First. There was a documentary hit piece that was recently done by one of the first documentarians that I ever started watching, Louis Theroux, who goes into interesting situations with controversial people, and he tries to find some empathetic grounds with them and really get to know them and understand where they're coming from. But it didn't seem like he was being very understanding where Nick was coming from, because he just wanted to smear them, because he knows that people are probably going to agree with this guy if I put them in a good light in any way, as opposed to like the neo-Nazis or the Westboro Baptist Church or all the other freaks that he has interviewed in the past, where they dug their own grave and he just smiled and was nice to them. He took a different tone with this one, so I think it'll be really interesting to get into that. But anyways, I want to start this off by just showing something extremely wholesome that we could all revel in, and it actually made me tear up when I was watching it.
Oh, I think I know what you're going to show. Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. Let me just make sure it's going to come up properly. Okay, there we go. Right here. So I know some of you might have seen this already, but it says, "Stop what you're doing and watch this. Kids at a Las Vegas elementary school burst out into cheers after learning they no longer have to wear a mask to school."
Oh, we don't have to wear masks anymore!
Look at how ecstatic they are.
Look at the one kid just fucking whipping around.
No, the kids are just whipping around like a bunch of Beyblades. This kid over here, I don't know if you see my cursor, but the kid on the right is just flossing like a boss.
He's flossing like a boss.
Yeah, he's doing that thing where you're like, I just wanna chimp out with these kids about, like, I feel so happy.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of like when you graduate.
Hold on. I just want to fucking chimp out. Woo, 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 woo. No more fucking masks. Let's go.
Let's go.
Look at how happy they're. They're tired of drinking their own spit. Sorry.
Doesn't it remind you of like when it was a graduation or something where they all like take their hats and they flip them up in the air like woohoo, you know, last day of school and the graduation. That's what it reminds me of, that type of exuberation, where they're so excited, you know, and you see kids whipping their masks across the fucking room. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, man, I think they're even happier than people who are graduating. Like, such a relief, man. You just think of all the negatives of kids wearing masks at school. I would say they're like drinking their own spit, essentially, and snot. Like, these are little kids, might I remind you. They have, like, no kids have died from this shit. It's absolutely bogus. The thing is that, like, oh, they might pass it on to their grandparents or something, but also simultaneously, we need to protect the kids. But none of them are dying or even, like, being symptomatic, nonetheless. It's absolutely
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It goes right through kids. Yeah.
And imagine just all of them having to wear that on their mouth and nose, covering the majority of their facial expressions. Like, people understand micro facial expressions as a way to properly socialize as they're growing. So this is a crucial time when they need to be seeing these micro expressions so that they could develop proper social skills. But of course, I think this is a malicious attempt of control by the elites, and specifically masking is a thing where they want to remind you, they even admit this at times, that they want to remind you that, hey, we're in a pandemic, so this is a perfect reminder to say you still got to be safe. You still got to be under control, and you still got to know that you got to do what they say. That's what that means.
Think of how fucked up these kids are going to be, like, with the mask. Like, it's going to cause a whole generation of kids to be just totally fucked up in the head because they're not getting that proper social interaction.
Well, look at how happy they were.
Oh my gosh! Like, seriously,
you were holding that back.
That's what you were holding back. Holding that back. It's fucking disgusting.
Okay, let's check out Entropy Chat. It seems to be working. We got the diagonal lines.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing tonight? Al Stern, let's fucking go. Jimmy's Honkers Ales. Good to see you, Jimmy.
Super gay. Faking gay. Yeah. Definitely. The chat's flying. It's good. No, the chat's good on Entropy. Yeah, we're flying.
Sweet. We got video.
Cobra's mom. She's fucking following you around, Edgy.
Oh yeah.
She's following you around, bro.
Saying so fucking gay. Not talking about me. She's talking about the mask.
I don't know about that. I think she might be talking about you because you won't support Colbert. That's what I think it is. She's looking for child support, bro. Fucking father a child.
Let me be clear. Colbert is like a piece of coal that's in the back end of Rage's basement. If I'm correct, okay?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that.
This is not like a coal burnt. Because before I was like Cole Burnt's mom.
No, it's Colbert. Colbert. You don't even know the name of your own child.
A coal burning.
You don't even know the name of your own child. Oh my fuck.
I was thinking I was gonna have a black stepchild, so I was like Cole Burnt's mom. So I was like, whoa. I don't want that kind of static. Anyways. It's good to see that the chats are going good here, and it's good to see kids celebrating their freedoms. They know it intuitively. Anyways, what I want to share here next is the mask mandates being lifted. I don't know when this was. February 14th. So was that yesterday?
Yes, sir.
No, I swear, was that yesterday that they actually
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
Holy fuck. Like, everything is a fucking blur now. Jeez.
Well, yeah, time does not go the way it normally went.
Yeah, for sure. So it says Ontario announces end of vaccine passports, other COVID-19 restrictions by March 1st. Now, I do not think that they would have done this without the pressure that we were putting on, because I'll show you going forward a bit into the stream how they were not giving out hints of this. In fact, they were giving out hints
at all.
They were giving out hints that they're going to mandatory jabbernate. Okay, from now on we're going to say jabbernate and other things like, waxinate. You got to say these kind of words or else we're going to get struck down here on YouTube because it's that Orwellian really. But anyways, it says Ontario says it will lift its COVID-19 vaccine certificate system on March 1st. Masking requirements will stay in place for now, but the province has a timeline to lift them that will come later. So, they're trying to still say, hey, don't forget. So you have all these cucks who'll still wear masks, and it'll still remind us that all their rules apply potentially. That's the effect that I think they're trying to give. It says, Premier Doug Ford says with public health indicators improving. oh yeah, of course, it was that.
That's it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It wasn't like the weeks of upheaval from your citizens. And
and nothing. We were on track to do this in the first place, Edgy. We were on track to do this in the first place. The fact that there's fucking millions of people across Canada protesting has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. There's fucking Doug
Yeah.
Ford. Fucking sellout.
Anyways, it says now because of that, the province can fast track its plans to lift cock-fed restrictions, including moving the next step of its reopening plan to Thursday instead of next Monday. Well, how gracious of you. The move to end the measures comes against a backdrop of protests, initially against cock-fed mandates that have spread across Canada and hit Ontario especially hard. Demonstrations have shut down parts of Canada's capital city of Ottawa, based, for more than 2 weeks, and protesters had blockaded a bridge that serves as the country's largest trade artery with the U.S. for about a week through yesterday. So that really pissed them off. Keep that in mind. Ford said the plan to ease restrictions was in place long before the protests were out there and called the continuing demonstrations unacceptable. Okay, yeah, calling fucking bullshit on that. I know that they have teased that the restrictions would be lifted eventually before, but that was also followed with a bunch of teases by this guy Yves Duclos, the federal health minister, saying that I could see mandatory vaxes coming for everybody in the near future. So they were trying to push both narratives out there and see how they were received and see how much they could get away with. But of course, if the federal health minister had his way with what he was trying to push out there to see if it would work, there would be massive upheaval, as we could already see that is happening here. So it's not going to happen. And the reason it's not happening is because they didn't get our manufactured consent. As Noam Chomsky once said, that they have to push the propaganda upon you and they have to brainwash you in order to manufacture your consent to let you, make you accept it by brainwashing you. And I'm so glad in the last month Canadians have revolted, and it started with the truckers sticking up for their own freedoms, and then it spread to everybody else.
Across Canada. Across
Canada and across the world. So now, starting March 1st, there's a lifting of all proof of vax requirements for all settings. Businesses can opt to keep mandates, masking requirements stay in place. So
I love that. I love that line.
Now it's a tough thing because now all these protesters in Ottawa, Coots, who have apparently gone home now, and we'll look into that, and other protests that are going to pop up probably in the near future. We haven't got all we wanted at this because they have actually set the stage so that they could backtrack at any time. Now, we want them to never be able to do this again. It's evil. There's been no accountability. So the protests don't stop, of course. But we are gaining freedom back.
Well, the thing is, I think the important thing...
We'll manufacture more resistance instead of consent going forward.
Well, what do they expect us to do? Do they expect us to trust them? Do they expect us oh yeah, no, okay, everyone go home now. Everyone go home. Doug Ford says March 1st, it's all going away, so we can all go home. And so what? And then we all go home. They're like, you know what? Actually, the cases they seem to be going up. We're just gonna keep them on for a little bit longer, like just an extra 2 weeks. Just an extra 2 weeks to flatten the curve. That's all. That's all we're gonna do. Just a couple more, and maybe next year we'll get around to actually fulfilling our no, fucking we stay where the fuck we are. We stay where we are. All the protests, keep fucking going to them. Fucking let them know that we're not fucking going away until this shit is gone. Period. Enough's enough. That's it. People have spoken. It's so I don't know what the fuck they expect.
Well, I'll tell you what they're gonna do based on that is that they're gonna say that, oh, it was never about the mandates. We released the mandates and they didn't stop. And they're gonna try to muddy the waters because on one hand, they can't admit that what they have been doing and I mean the elites coming from the top down, Operation Warp Speed, we're going to force everyone to get waxed, all that. They can't admit that what they've been doing is totally evil and wrong. Obviously, because ultimately what they want is to get people on the digital ID system and to have as much control as they can before they unleash new technology like 5G technologies, and that they could push people into smart cities and then have as much control over them as they snatch up all the property around people. And then take control of food and production and every aspect of
You're
people's
talking about
lives.
agenda. You're talking about Agenda 2030.
Yeah,
You're talking about that's
in
exactly
other
the UN
words,
Agenda
yes.
2030. Yeah,
Right. So
that's
that
exactly what
is
that
the
is.
ultimate goal, and you have to understand that that's what they have in mind.
Oh, nothing be
So they
happy.
do
Exactly.
they do 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and this is the 1 step back. So you got to hold them to task for all these things that you know they're going to do, and you got to be prepared. And perhaps you got to have some kind of chess warfare prepared so that you could be ready for their next move. Now, what that is exactly, I'm not entirely sure, but that is something you got to keep in mind. And yes, I think holding the line at this point, you got to hold the line until it's all rescinded. And
Yeah.
we mean business. Essentially. This is this is not retreat at first capitulation.
They're not capitulated. They like, I don't understand this shit. How can they okay, overnight within 24 hours we're gonna lock down the province, but yet this takes 2 weeks to repeal the same lockdown that you like. What they just like do the fucking genie slap and oh, we're in lockdown, but yet if we're gonna retract those lockdowns, retract the mandates, no, we need a 2 week time frame. And then the whole time they're pushing you and pushing and pushing to leave the protest line and to come back, right? Like what the fuck? What's the logic? There's no logic there at all. There's no logic. Like, how can you lock down a province within 24 hours, but yet it takes you 2 weeks to take back those same? Oh, there's logistics and there's bureaucracies and da da da. It's bullshit.
Well, what they've got into place is a precedent into people's mind that lockdowns are a thing that can happen. And whether they go along with this virus charade or they move on to the next psyop, which I think will be climate lockdowns, potentially like
everyone
a cyber
says
polygon, internet shit. Like it's hard to believe a climate lockdown, but they have already set this precedent into place, and then with the climate lockdowns, it'll be more of a continuation of some kind of digital ID and social credit score where your carbon limit has been reached, so you're not allowed to drive as much because a town burnt down in BC, and there's no way for you to have any recourse against it other than standing up like we have already been doing. Right, because what are you gonna tell them? Their science is wrong.
If you
think the normies are gonna be able to discern between like whether it was caused by carbon emissions or whether it was just something that happened?
Edgy, let me ask you.
None of it makes fucking sense.
Let me ask you, Edgy, if we would have just stayed in Ottawa and locked down Ottawa, do you think they would have capitulated, or do you think it was the fact that they went to the border and they started blocking off the border that really turned the tide for us?
I think both. I think one was inevitable after the other. So I think both. Yeah, they don't like that we're in Ottawa, and they don't like the border stuff especially. Jimmy's Honkers Ales is asking, what do you guys think of Pierre Poilievre's rise to stardom?
I saw that.
Well, I think he's doing a good job at least saying what we're thinking. But once he gets into a position of power, who knows what he's going to do? I think he's probably managed by like the conservative Inc. when it comes to who is popular in the conservative movement in the U.S., which is a step way beyond our conservative movement. You see Aaron O'Toole, this guy's like pathetically cucked. Like he's basically like a neoliberal leftist. And that's why he got ousted, because it was just so pathetic after this freedom convoy. he had absolutely no place, even being like anywhere in front of people.
Oh, he
So
was
then
useless.
Pierre
Useless.
Poilievre obviously took over, but I don't know. I wouldn't trust him in the end. I don't trust most politicians because there's always an Overton window that they
Mhm.
can't go beyond.
Well, with
So you have to
Pierre,
take everyone with a grain of salt. Though the thing about Pierre Poilievre, if he takes over the CPC, it'll pull away from the PPC, who has always been consistent and on point, and is away from the strings. There's probably some strings attached to them, but for the most part, I would say that they have been on point with their messaging since they became a party in 2019.
oh, for sure. For sure.
So it'll
Definitely.
strengthen the CPC a bit more. And if the PPC's done anything, then it's also that they've spread the Overton window to allow people like Pierre Poilievre to overtake the CPC. Though
Well,
I will still put
it's
all my eggs behind the PPC
yes.
because they have been at it since day one. And if I can continue to push them in a direction where they're challenging Pierre to be less of a cuck and to be more anti-globalist and more pro-nationalist, then I'll do that.
I would love to see Pierre Poilievre come to the PPC, but I think now with O'Toole out and now Pierre putting his throwing his hat into the ring, I don't think I think we don't have a chance to get him anymore. So, and I think if he takes the lead at the CPC, he's a talking boy. He's their golden boy. Why they booted him? What did he take over when O'Toole took over? When O'Toole took over, he was finance, and then he went to what? Fucking I don't know, fucking some stupid fucking office that he had to take. And it really put him on the back burner. But he was definitely a mouthpiece prior to that. Pierre Poilievre he's the golden boy of the Conservative Party. So I think they have a chance of winning an election, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I look at Doug Ford. Doug Ford is so cucked it's retarded. He's basically fucking Trudeau's fucking stepbrother, for fuck's sakes. Like
Oh yeah.
Trudeau talks, he has all the same talking points as Trudeau. So I've never seen anyone so cucked in my life.
Yeah, well, I think Pierre Poilievre stands out in that sense, but I still don't trust him 100% because where was he before? Was he
No,
standing
exactly.
up as hard as Bernier, Randy Hillier, or any of these, even Roman Baber? Was he
Right.
standing up as hard before?
He was a
What
mouthpiece.
is the
That's all he
game here?
was. He was a
Yeah,
mouthpiece.
he was like a Trudeau. He was doing these awesome zings against Trudeau in the budget.
Yeah.
But where was he
And what?
defending? Where was he defending against vax passports at the time when it really
No.
mattered?
They're all cucked.
So
They're all in with the
I
UN,
think
all of them.
he's part of the political theater that's going on, and I
Oh,
don't trust
100%.
him.
100%.
Though I like that he's pushing it towards a direction that is more satisfactory for me. Now BC are still cucked. They apparently haven't gotten the message. It says indoor personal gatherings, indoor and outdoor organized gatherings, and indoor seated events will be able to return to full capacity as long as attendees wear masks and BC Vax cards are used. So it's literally like we just give you less lockdowns now.
Yeah.
So BC is getting cucked, and you have to understand why are these people getting so cucked? It says that more than 90% of the it says 93.5% of eligible adults have received at least one dose. So they're among the most, what do you call it? They follow along with the rules that are put down for them, and they're getting screwed over the most. So does that not tell you something about this whole
I would possibly look at the demographics. I would look at the demographics of BC. What's their main demographic?
Well, I
Yeah.
want to show you a quick video just to show you some of Dan Dick's coverage of when the convoy was coming from BC to show you show you what they were dealing with. And maybe it'll help help people understand maybe why their government, their provincial government is allowed to be more of pieces of shit than Ontario because of the people that are there. Now I'm gonna go to the washroom quick, but I want you guys to watch this. Shut it.
Don't support people that are threatening healthcare workers and blocking hospitals. That's what we're asking for. Don't support people that are blocking hospitals.
Nobody's doing that.
I'm not aware of anybody. They are blocking hospitals.
Yeah, nobody's doing that.
Healthcare workers.
Healthcare workers are being fired based on their own personal medical choices.
Listen, all we're asking for is having a peaceful protest that doesn't belong to all personal medical.
Yeah, it's a green light now. Like one single person blocking it. This entire convoy is currently being halted because of one person standing in the middle here. And now they're bringing kids into it.
What the fuck?
Are you guys against freedom? What is this about? Are you against freedom? You are against freedom? Yeah. I thought so.
What the fuck?
That's better.
So they're deciding.
That's better.
Peel away.
There's no police out here helping this situation. Not that you can count on them anyways, but I had to just go out there and move these stupid barricades for myself because nobody else is doing it.
That's insane.
Right. So I think that's quite specific to BC because I never saw anything like that when when I was in Ottawa or when I was in Windsor. So I was at Windsor this past weekend, Friday night and Saturday night. And then obviously everything happens on Sunday as soon as I had to go. So that kind of, you know, got wrapped up. I think maybe 11 or so people got arrested.
Wasn't it 13?
13,
What was
something
that?
like that. Basically,
Something like that.
The police started walking in their line, and then they got anybody who they deemed was, you know, within their line of arrestation or whatever.
Yeah, it was. We gotta figure out a solution to that pressing problem when they rushed with the line. You know, that has to be dealt with.
Right. Well,
there's
something like maybe linking arms and singing "Oh Canada." I've heard that.
That's that'll work. That'll work. We'll just all link arms and sing "Oh Canada." That way they can take us down one at a time.
Well, no.
They move in certain formations, though. They move in certain formations. Police, they move in certain formations. So we gotta figure out a way to get around them, so that way we're not getting arrested when we interrupt their line, so to speak. You know.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, I think the problem is that
there's something in non-compliance where you get arrested and you're singing "Kumbaya" or "Oh Canada" or whatever.
True. Well, that's no different. You're
making a statement.
Oh fuck! You're the guy getting beat in the street. Then that's the way I look at it. Look at what they're doing to me. You're also the guy being the fucking sacrificial lamb. You know, you want to be the sacrificial lamb
maybe
to show
so,
how. That's pretty much it. Well, that's how I look at it, right? Because that's what we all say. Oh, you know, don't fight back. Don't fight back. Be the sacrificial lamb, but you're also the guy getting fucking beat in the street. You know, so I don't. That's not a job title that a lot of people want to sign up for. I'm just saying. There's not the volunteer list is few and far between. For I want to be the sacrificial lamb. Let me be the one that they beat on to show everyone that I'm innocent.
As long as somebody films me getting beat in slow motion, then I'll like.
Is that worth it?
Yes. Yes. They get me getting beat in 120 FPS with billy clubs and shit. I can just be like, this is the Billy Club that broke my elbow. Just like a cry of freedom.
There you go,
coming out of
Colbert's
me.
mom. They're gonna what is that? Sadist or masochist? I don't know, one of the two. I think Edgy's in one of those two parties, one of those S&M there a little bit. What's your safe word, Edgy?
What the Slippin? Okay,
Your safe word.
so I want to get something also about. So yeah, BC is totally cocked, but
Yes.
also I want to know what's going on with travel, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so are we allowed to travel if we're unwaxed out of Canada? What's going on? Are we allowed to travel within Canada?
I don't know.
Well, let's see what it says here. It says Canada loosened borders measure. Unwaxed still required COVID test, quarantine, or whatever. Okay.
Well, is that flying or is that
Well, look at what it says. It says waxed travelers entering Canada after the end of this month won't need to arrange a pre-arrival PCR test, but those without at least 2 shots will still be subject to mandatory arrival testing. So it's just all unclear. It's like, what?
Yeah, but can you fly? Can you?
So those who have something, and then in the same sentence, they say like, and those who don't have it. It's just convoluted. It's not clear. And as you'll see here, it's also not clear because it says rules for the unwaxed will remain the same, and those travelers will still be subject to arrival and 8th-day tests, as well as mandatory 14-day quarantines. Unwaxed foreign nationals will continue to be denied entry into Canada unless exempted. Now, from what I understood, is that near the end of September into October or November, sometime around there, the grace period ended for people wanting to get on a plane in Canada. If you're unwaxed, you wouldn't be allowed to anymore. It's just, you're banned. So what they're saying here, and I looked at a couple different articles trying to figure out like what's going on with this, and none of them were clear. This is probably the most clear one. And it's saying rules for the unwaxed will remain the same. Well, from what I gathered, we weren't allowed at all. And then it goes on to say, and those travelers will still be subject to arrival and 8-day tests, as well as
maybe it's not. Maybe that's international flights, like from India and from China and from
Does
wherever.
anybody fucking know what's going on here?
I don't have a fucking clue. I don't plan on getting on a fucking plane, so I don't know.
So I'm gonna check entropy. Does anybody know what the fuck's going on?
No, we got no's. Just a bunch of no's. Just a bunch of no's. No fucking clue. No fucking clue. That's all I see. Get rid of the COVID hotels too, says Jimmy Hawker's Ale. I don't know what your ale tastes like, bro. Fucking send us a bottle. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know, man. Yeah, get rid of the fucking hotels too. Do we still have the fucking quarantine?
I don't think so. I don't think the hotel quarantine.
It's good shit.
That would be pretty fucked if they were still a thing at this point.
Well, I don't know. Like,
I think we'd be still
is that a
talking
thing?
about it. I know they're hitting us with so many things at once that it could still be a thing. I don't know. I think not.
No one knows anything. This is why we drink. Well, there you go.
Right.
And there you go.
So
that's Colbert's mom.
I do want to show you, at least we're not like Italy right now. A buddy of mine just sent me this. And it seems pretty fucked in Italy. Canada is not the laughingstock of the world for once, because we've actually stood up and done a really good, effective job at telling our leaders that we're not going to fucking take this. But apparently in Italy, I think it maybe creeped on them enough that they're not getting the same picture. Their elites are not as afraid of their population as they should be. It's saying workers over 50 in Italy from February 15th, they have to either be waxed or get no wages.
That's over 50. People over 50, though, right?
Yeah, so from February 15th in Italy, all workers aged 50 and over must have a green vaccination card to enter the workplace. Those who are unwaxed are considered unjustified absentees. They will not be fired until mid-June, but they will not be paid either.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Wow.
With
I mean,
and this is from today, February 15th.
damn.
So it says with
Damn.
immediate effect, existentially difficult times begin for all unwaxed working people in Italy who are 50 years age or older. If they do not have the certificate, the following rules apply. From February 15th, all people over the age of 50 in the workplace in the public and private sectors must be able to identify themselves as waxed or recovered. So maybe they have to say that they have antigens, which is
Oh,
also,
maybe. That's a possibility.
in order to be allowed to work. It is now a matter of course for all these workers to have present the green super pass. That is to say, the green certificate for vaccination or recovery from cockfid for less than 6 months. The defined working areas are, and then it goes to mention pretty much everything for people 58 years and older. It starts off like things that a lot of people do, like healthcare, military, police, and university staff. And then it says all workers over 50.
Like how where that's like a slam dunk. You were like dribbling to the net, and then you just fucking jump and fucking smash the fucking backboard of the ball. Like holy fuck.
Huge percentage of the population.
Yeah, all workers over 50. So I mean, but even in Italy,
aren't those the people that they're supposed to like that the younger people are supposed to get the jab to protect? So why you consider why you worried if they're getting it or not?
Why over 50? Like what's the 50 marker? Why as if age has anything to do with anything? You know,
well,
all over 50.
Age is a significant factor if you die of, cockfid. But at the same time, that's their choice if they want to get it or not.
Yeah, but it's just a number though. Like age is just a number, right? So what? Oh, you put a marker at 50. Well, some people are their health is they could be 25 but have the the physical characteristics of a fucking 80-year-old. Like the health,
I guess what you're saying is don't be fat. Don't be a fat fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Average age is 80 is like 82. Yeah.
Yeah, for a death from cockfid. So
yeah, exactly.
Think about that what you will.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't get they just pick a number. Oh, 50. Like, well, yeah, but not everyone's the same. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different health stratosphere, so to speak, or everyone's on a spectrum with age. I mean, you may be 20, but you fucking your health is like of a fucking 70-year-old. Or you might be 82, but yet you have the body of a 20-year-old. It's all fucking numbers.
I don't get how they're forcing people of that age
to
get jabbed when it's like, okay, they can get jabbed if they want. They're probably the most at risk, but why are you forcing them? It's obviously their decision at that point.
Yeah, well, yeah. You have a choice. You can either get the jab or you don't work in your living. Like, do they even have? It's a different culture there in Italy too, as well, right? It's just a different culture, different way of life. So, like, do they have a social system there where, like?
Well, I understand.
What are they supposed to do?
In Austria, they haven't changed anything since January 20th, so they will still charge people going forward if they don't get it, if they don't get the jab. And apparently freedom hasn't reached Austria yet.
Freedom needs to reach Austria.
I feel like it's probably because Austria, Germany, they're suffering from being beaten down after World War II.
Well,
because I think the powers that be are making them submit to mass immigration, like Germany, Cologne, Germany, getting massive amounts of immigrants attacking, sexually assaulting women on New Year's Eve in Cologne. Like,
I remember,
a huge scandal. That was just wiped out. That was just put under the radar by their mainstream media there. And these kind of things happen to Germany and Austria because the people have been scapegoated and blamed for World War II there.
Hold on. So Senya says, I've seen videos where the restaurants in Italy are requiring the pass, and what the citizens did was they held a huge barbecue basically in front of the restaurant. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Fucking epic. That's epic.
That's total Ottawa Parliament Hill party vibes.
I'll say that's definitely a level of freedom there. That's a giant fuck you make me right there for sure. I like that one.
Hell yeah. Well,
Nice.
let's check out Trudeau's War Measure Acts because, he's been talking a tough game. He doesn't like what we're doing. Let's see what this fucking turbo cuck has to say.
Sockboy. I don't have Sockboy. Sockboy's right there. There it is. There, Sockboy. There's Sockboy.
There we go. That's fucking Dr. Faggot right there.
Your faggot?
Yes.
Dr. Faggot?
Yeah.
I like Sockboy.
What was that from? What's that from? The Hangover. Yeah, Paging
The
Dr.
Hangover.
Faggot.
Paging Dr. Faggot. Yeah, that's awesome.
Classic. Yeah.
Classic.
So, federal government invokes emergency act for first time ever in response to protest blockades. So, this has gotten so bad, all those bouncy castles, that they had to enact this for the first time ever.
Horrible.
I did have a bunch of things highlighted. Let's see if I can get those up.
Did you lose your highlight? Oh, they're there.
Oh, there they are.
There you go.
So, yeah, I didn't want to, I think a lot of this is self-explanatory. We already know it, but there's a few things I wanted to highlight. It says, the illegal blockades have highlighted the fact that crowdfunding platforms and some of the payment service providers they use are not fully captured under the Proceeds of Crime of Terrorist Financing Act and Terrorist Financing Act. So they haven't properly reined in GoFundMe and GiveSendGo, the new Christian alternative platform, after the GoFundMe got shut down after $10 million were put into it. And this is too terroristic for them. It says, we are making these changes because we know that these platforms are being used to support illegal blockades and illegal activity, which is damaging the Canadian economy, of course. But when BLM got like $100 million and probably more,
yep,
and they were
what about
and looting billions of dollars and killed about 30 people within the protests.
Do you know what no one else? Do you know what else no one ever talks about? Is when the wet sweat and fucking block the rail lines. What about then? Where was the Emergency Measures Act then when fucking they were starving the fucking East Coast with propane? Remember that shit?
Well, no, they would have some kind of fight that went down with them and the police, and then they would parade that as the fact. Like, they would use that clip to be like, look what happens if you're not white and you protest the government. And then they post something out of context to try to say, like, oh, white people are being treated, like, with kid gloves. It's like, no, we're being treated as if everything we do is Nazi related. Like, we bring tens of thousands of people to Parliament on the first weekend of this Freedom Convoy. They find one literal false flag of a guy running a Nazi flag at the Chateau Laurier, the most expensive fucking hotel there, or one of the most elite hotels. And this guy's being flanked by several fuck Trudeau flags as if it's made just for this one photo op. The long lens camera operative.
Long lens camera. You can't really make out the faces. How convenient.
Yeah, there's no exposure of who this guy actually is.
No.
If this guy were anywhere near the rally, he would have immediately been removed.
Oh, removed? He would have been fucking... He would have been foot stomped.
No, he wouldn't have. No, he wouldn't have. Because people at the protest, even when they know they're getting... someone's trying to false flag and screw them over like that, they're still nice enough that they'll just take the flag and then they'll be like,
hold
okay,
on,
buddy.
someone had a
no one would curb stomp
flag.
Even this fucking idiot who's trying.
All right, maybe I'm
to
just
fuck up the
daydreaming.
movement.
I'm just daydreaming, but like someone had a the fucking Southern flag there. Someone was rocking the Southern flag, the rebel flag. What the fuck's that? What's the
Confederate flag?
The Confederate flag. And so what they did is the truckers grabbed the flag off them and took off his mask, and they pulled his mask down to expose him and chased him off. That's what they did, because they didn't want to detract. They didn't want to detract
Right.
people
And even
distracting
then,
from their message.
They're trying to fearmonger about the Confederate flag. It's
Yeah.
like, the Confederacy was a huge part of the Southern United States history.
Yeah.
And
then the Southern
slavery
states.
was not the only thing that mattered.
Well, but
at
that was
time.
also in the States, though.
Though
like
it doesn't really have a place for the optics of this event.
No,
And
I
it's
mean,
just
like,
that's your separate
lots of
thing
people-
that's racially charged in some sort of way. So we don't.
well, the
want
funny
it in our
thing
protests,
was
but-
Jordan Peterson touched on it with who the fuck he was with Joe with I think it was with Joe Rogan, or it was on some podcast, and they were talking about it. And Jordan Peterson was like, you know, one Confederate flag in Canada, and most Canadians don't even know what the fuck it is. They just look at it, and go,
Yeah.
oh, well, it's a flag, you know. They don't make the connection like they
you
would
couldn't
down
even
south.
you couldn't even get me to tell you exactly what the Confederate flag
Yeah,
is.
I don't know.
But,
It's on the
but
Dukes of
either
Hazzard
way,
star.
I
don't know.
want to get on to say that the Canadian financial institutions can now temporarily cease providing financial services if the institution suspects an account is being used to further the legal blockades and occupations, says Christia Freeland. This order covers both personal and corporate accounts. So what does this mean? That means if they get the wind or the sense that you are supporting the truckers in any way financially, that they will freeze, they will temporarily cease
Yeah,
your bank accounts.
temporarily. Do you
So
remember?
what does that mean? That any money that is going towards that, just think about how far that could be stretched.
Well, not only do you remember? Do you remember last year when she came out and saying about the money in the bank? Do you remember that? Fuck, where she was talking about like, oh, you need to invest in Canada, and how much money do you have in your accounts, and blah blah blah, and you should take that money and invest it in Canada, and you should contact us, and we'll tell you where to invest that money. Do you remember that? And we were all freaking out, going, oh fuck, they're gonna come for the money, and here you are, and here we are.
Right? Well, I do see one example of where this came to fruition. So, Druthers News and Information. Druthers is a pretty good site. Like, they're more of a libertarian hippie freedom kind of political news outlet. But I think these are really nice, really good, well-meaning people. So they've been trying to raise as much money as they can to give to the bankers. So they said try to get 40 bank drafts for the truckers of $2,500 each from our account at BMO just now, and was told that the account is frozen. They gave a number to call. Voicemail says leave a name and they'll get back to us within 3 business days. Brutal. We'll keep you updated. So, 40 bank drafts of $2,500 each. So how much is that? Around $100,000 that they were trying to send personally with donations that they solicited in some way or that they raised for the truckers. Bank account frozen. They're told we're going to have to wait 3 days. They get them wrapped up in the bureaucracy. And then they'll do whatever Trudeau says that they're allowed to do, or Freeland says that they're allowed to do with the money.
This is bullshit. You know, and I don't know if you ever pulled up that one with TD. Did you want to dive into that one as well?
Yeah, sure. Do you have something to say about that?
Yeah, the TD one. Yeah, definitely. Because the TD one was very interesting.
So TD Bank freezes accounts that received money for Canada protests. So it says TD Bank has frozen 2 personal bank accounts in which 1.4 million have been deposited to support protesters fighting the Canadian government's pandemic measures. And the demonstrations, dubbed the Freedom Convoy by Canadian truckers opposing the wax mandates, as well as other pandemic restrictions, are now in their third week. So I don't know. I haven't read this. So is there something specific?
Yeah, well, the thing was is that with that particular article, they were talking about how they're waiting for they were petitioning. I think it was either the federal government or this one of the courts or some shit like that. They wanted to seize the money and then either put it towards the donors or the people it was destined for, because it was in two bank accounts. But they were like
Right.
personal bank accounts. So people were transferring to personal bank accounts. One was 1.4 and the other one was like 1.3 or whatever $1 million into these bank accounts. And the bank wanted to seize the money from that personal bank account and then either give the money back to the people who transferred the money, or give it to the people that it was destined to, i.e. the convoy, I guess. It was very odd, very odd. So you want to seize that money.
Okay, yeah. So basically, what they're saying is they want to seize it and then not give it to the truckers.
Well,
no,
not
capacity.
They don't want to give it to the person who has the bank account. So it's in a personal bank account. So it's in a personal bank account, and then that person was going to give it away to whoever. But now the bank wants to seize it from that person and then do the same job. Well, why not just let the person do it? Oh, they're afraid that they're what, going to take the money and run away with it? Like what's?
Yeah, possibly. To be honest, that makes sense, considering some of the people that are involved with it, like BJ Dichter.
Oh, BJ. Oh, blowjob.
Yeah, and I don't know. I've heard some things about these people, but at the same time, I just think that when it comes to these, what was the first one? GoFundMe? Well, GoFundMe is just a write-off because they're part of the system.
Oh, they're totally cucked. They're totally cucked.
So,
those guys...
so why are you even giving to GoFundMe? This whole thing proved that GoFundMe is a write-off. They're part of the system.
They've been a write-off. Why would you set up a GoFundMe? We've known they've been a write-off.
Okay, yeah. But Give, Send, Go. That one is one that we should support. But obviously their infrastructure isn't properly in place because they got hacked.
Hacked hard.
Now, apparently, CBC journalists are rifling through all the hacked donors that thought they were going to be anonymous, now have been revealed through this hack, through this malicious hack to expose and dox them. And now CBC journalists are reveling in it. And who knows, are they going to post and try to somehow shame the people who are involved in donating?
Colbert's mom says they're literally calling people. Are they literally calling people on the phone?
That's sick. That's fucking sick.
What the fuck? Doxed. Talk about being doxed. Holy shit.
So that's one of the problems with these alternative platforms is once you see an alternative platform with some integrity, you need to help them with financial donations in some capacity to strengthen their online security, because we're dealing with a system who uses frickin' Israeli spies and Israeli tech gurus and Mossad to fuck with your technological infrastructure. And they will compromise your cybersecurity because the best cybersecurity technology is being developed in Israel. So you could bet your ass that they're compromising Give, Send, Go in some way. Now, I don't know if it's Israel, or not Israel, but Mossad, Unit 8200 in particular. But somebody went and hacked Give, Send, Go, and now CBC journalists are just having a field day doxing just people, freedom-loving supporters. Yeah.
So we heard that you gave so what are they doing? Are they just going by price though? $500, $1,000, like the $5 people? Are they calling the $5 people, or are they just looking for the $1,000 and $2,000 people that donated? Well, I wonder what their fucking criteria is of who they call and who they don't call. They only calling the single moms, or they calling the working families? You know, I wonder I wonder how they suss that out. Fucking assholes.
Yeah, are they reining in Colbert's mom to to just pay the ultimate fine for her? You know what? I'll protect her. Okay.
Oh yeah. Now we come. Now that's it. Here we go.
Okay.
See?
Shush.
Yeah.
I think that they're also seizing property now, right? So they could potentially seize all the trucks. They could seize potentially anything that is providing them with assistance. Like maybe you have a transport truck providing financial assistance in some capacity to the blockades. Now that could potentially be confiscated under the War Measures or the Emergency Act.
Oh fuck, you're right too. Yeah, that's
so
right.
What
That's
if
a good way to get resources.
What if you have a compound where you're hosting all these people who are involved with the Freedom Convoy, and then you guys are doing strategy from this convoy? You have a bunch of bunk beds where Roger Hodkinson and Pat King and Raging Dissident and all these fucking unlikely characters are all sleeping in the same thing, and they got a war room going on like it's fucking what's that movie? Dr. Strangelove.
Oh jeez.
Dr. Strangelove, and they're all in like the war room contemplating what to do next. Maybe they seize that compound because they see that it's involved in some kind of insurrection, as they might put it, some siege on Ottawa.
That's true though. If they went around confiscating all the trucks, all the compounds, all the land, all the houses underneath these new Emergency Measures Act, and then sell it off, I mean, fuck, that's a good way to recoup from the bullshit that they've caused through we have to sell it off because of all the problems you've created with your convoys and your blockades, because we've lost so much money. So now we're just going to seize all your property and then sell it and then try to recoup our monies.
Well, yeah,
that's a solid point.
They like take in your shit. That's one thing for sure. So this is pretty funny. It says theft of truck carrying more than 2,000 guns was not a targeted incident.
Yeah, target.
Peterborough police say. I love how that's the title. Don't worry, guys. It was not a targeted incident.
Don't worry about it.
It only happened a day ago. So we have no suspect other than like what we saw on camera. There's no names. No. We don't have somebody in custody or somebody that we have an arrest warrant for now. But we know that it was not a targeted incident.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You know how they know it wasn't a targeted incident? That they stole a truck and trailer vehicle with over 2,000 guns. You know how they know it wasn't a targeted incident? Because there's evidence that they went to other lots to try and steal things.
Like that's how we know.
That's how they came to the conclusion for this CBC News article headline. Because they went to other places first.
That's the tell right there. Because they were not that it was targeted.
They put it in the headline. Though.
I know, I saw it. It's fucking retarded. So it's not like they were looking.
That is the giveaway. That is the giveaway.
Why didn't they steal from the other lots? No, because they were looking for that specific truck. It was definitely targeted. Well, they were looking for that specific truck. They had to have been.
It could also have just been that they went to other lots so that they could make this headline specifically. But why would that be the headline? Not a targeted incident. Why?
No. What the whole
what precedent do you have to make such a bold statement when you have very little. You don't even have the suspect in custody.
Why are you making the assumption that we would assume that was targeted? Is a better question. They're making the assumption that we would think it was a targeted. Why? So you're trying to dispel the fact that we think automatically that it was targeted. So you're trying to dispel that and just, it's not targeted. I never said it was targeted. Why are you saying it's targeted for? Why are you saying that it wasn't targeted? I wasn't even thinking about that.
That is a good point. Yeah.
You know, that's
because it seems like they're trying to cope for the opposite thing, like the opposition of what they're saying. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So let's see what the comments have to say. And this is CBC News comments. So they might be retarded. But I haven't even read these yet. It says it says that the thieves try to steal other trucks before they got this one. That seems that this one was easier to steal than the others. Given the cargo, I would think it should have been the most secured truck in the area, not the least. So a decent comment. A truckload of firearms get boosted, and the cops are calling it a crime of opportunity? How convenient. The second thing the cops need to do is find out who has Savage Guns authorized the guns to be loaded into an unsecured truck and stored outside. And start asking some pointed questions. No, that's very true, you know. And it gives some very Gabriel Wortman vibes, where it's just like this guy, Gabriel Wortman, was an obvious fucking spook. He was a dentist with a criminal record of like assault and shit like that. He obviously had some access to drugs as a dentist, but he is also going around with fake police cars, and then eventually he goes and kills 20 people and there's hundreds of thousands of dollars involved.
10 wasn't it 10 grand that was I thought
like
it was
being
10...
wired to him.
Yeah.
He was obviously involved in some kind of criminal syndicate, and
he was into some shit.
He was obviously wrapped up into some RCMP shit, and we still haven't gotten the answers for that. And then in the aftermath of his just spooky killing spree that leaves so many questions unanswered, they just ban 1,500 guns.
How convenient.
What? And then they keep
banning they've changed
more?
The narrative too, eh? They've changed the narrative with the banned guns as well. Now it's not military assault, it's just assault style. Instead of military assault style, now they've changed the narrative to just assault style. No, they dropped the military part. So now they've dropped the military assault style.
None of it makes any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's all just an assault on my intelligence.
Exactly, but I noticed
so
it's
this
odd that they're
this
changing the
just
narrative.
has some vibes where nothing is answered, and it's just they try to cover it up in some weird fucking way where it's like, okay, we'll get fucked because I think you're lying and you're being a piece of shit. But take a look at what's going on here. I think a lot of us have seen this. 13 arrests, guns seized, and a possible conspiracy to commit murder. RCMP swoops in on Coots, Alberta border protest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they got all this. It's really not that much for 12 people. Spread this across.
It was at a house. It was at a fucking house. This wasn't even at the protest. This was at a house. The arrests were made at a house. Were made at a house, and they stopped one vehicle that was on its way back to the protesters. It wasn't even at the site. It wasn't even at the protest that they got this shit.
Well, this is one video that has been...
Hey there, freedom fighters. It's Monday, February 14th. It's 1 o'clock, and I have confirmed for a fact that the arrests with the guns in Coots were not in the Coots blockade at all. It was on a residence near it. I know for a fact it's a friend's son that was arrested involved with it. They are trying to smear it on the whole blockade in this protest. Everybody needs to get this message out on every kind of social media. Start talking about it everywhere you can. Please keep the freedom, keep the peace, everybody.
Right.
Freedom.
And then it goes on. This is the aftermath.
After the events of yesterday and the news released that the RCMP made arrests and come forward with, and the arrests resulted in firearms, handguns, and protective equipment being unearthed. We, as the Coots Convoy, have decided that as a peaceful protest and to maintain that narrative, we will be rolling out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Please come out tonight, support us, eat our food, socialize with all of us. We want to wrap this up in a peaceful way, and we thank everybody for all their support, for their prayers, and we hope that we have started something that will have such wide-reaching effects that governments will continue to go back to the grassroots, listen to the constituents, and that these mandates, these restrictive mandates will soon be eliminated. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Right. So that's the result of that arrest. So take from that what you will. Right? Now here's how it's been going since then. So this is the next day. This is today. Tuesday, February 15th, the day after they made that. So everybody just hugging each other and shaking hands. And by the way, that police officer has no mask on. Pretty base. The only thing that could make this better is if everybody had their dicks out for Harambe.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
No, people still don't remember that Harambe the monkey was shot down because some stupid kid ran into his cage back in 2016. And I'm still...
Are you still hurt?
Yeah, I'm still very hurt over it.
Still hurt.
I've been campaigning to bring Harambe back into this freedom convoy so that we could support monkey rights.
Monkey. Gorilla rights.
Stand on guard for thee. God keep our land.
Well, ain't that nice? And
check out those fucking beards. Holy fuck.
Damn. If you didn't know, there was also a smear job going on against specifically Plaid Army and Diagolon. So let's take a look at this. Here we go. So amongst the people arrested, they found one thing specifically, and it was some shitty plate carrier that had 2 Diagolon stickers.
Let's see.
So this is so Diagolon.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, is the meme that was created by Jeremy McKenzie, Raging Humanist, Raging Dissident, where basically you put a line down from Alaska down to, I believe it's Texas. I don't know how states go, but yeah, you put a nice fat line between North America, and in the middle you get all the based territories. It's like a red versus blue fun kind of like territorial LARP.
Yeah, it was basically like it's basically a meme, a joke.
Yeah, it's a funny meme that's not even racially based.
No, it's based on the red states, Alaska down to Florida, where the red states that were saying "fuck you, make me" to the mandates and to the masks, and like Florida and Texas.
100%.
Like, no,
yeah.
100%, and it went up on the line, and then we thought Alberta.
Disregarding all that, like we understand what that situation is, but there has been some smear campaigns against them, saying that he is the one who is plotting all of this, essentially, just because you see these stripes here
behind it all.
Does that really make any sense whatsoever?
No, it does not.
No, there's no causal relation. So, this is what Jeremy says. He says, regarding this and whatever allegedly seized or planted in Coots, 1. I have no idea who these belong to. 2. Allegedly, someone we don't know was handing these patches out in coots. They did not come from me or the guy that sells them. So yeah, you could easily just have a Fed planning these on people and then waiting for the rest to happen after. That is the thing that could have happened. 3. I have no idea who gets a cheap off-brand, never been used in brand new carrier like this and sets it up like a spasming LARP kid. So that's one of the things that's very prescient about the situation is why is this presented in the way it is, and does it pass the shit smell test?
Wait.
Because for the normie, anything will pass. You could just put whatever there, and they'll be like, oh my god! Ah! But then when you have somebody who knows what they're talking about, then they could do a better job at interpreting what the actual context of the situation is.
Well, Frank Mack and Chris Bird, I mean, they send out thousands of like people just email them, they just send them out. You pay for it, you get it. That's basically how it works with the patches and the flags. So anyone could order a fucking anti-hate could be fucking ordering the patches and the flags by the truckload to try to keep them and burn them. Who knows? I mean, anyone can order them. They just send them out. I mean, fuck, it could belong to anyone. Who knows?
Very true.
Right?
Very true. And it says as supposedly some kind of dangerous militia.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. It should be pointed out that whoever set this carrier up haphazardly has no idea what they're doing and likely has never worn or even used one for any real purpose. And I believe everything that he's saying here.
Well, Jeremy's a fucking infantry, and I mean, got the guys who rock the plate carriers and know what they're doing. They're somewhat collector pieces. They take it very seriously, so they look at it right away. They're like, no, this is set up all wrong. Like, who the fuck did this? It'd be like if I did it. I have no idea. I would have no idea what the fuck I'd be doing with a plate carrier, right? And it'd be something like I would do. You know, totally someone, a novice, inexperienced, not knowing how to set one up properly, and that. You know, it's a tell right away. The guys are like, no, that's a tell. That's someone who didn't know what the fuck they were doing anyway. So it is what it is.
Yeah, 100%. And I think this will pass. This could have been specifically planted to fuck with him. It could have been incidentally planted in the sense that people were giving around these stickers, and this guy was like, "Oh yeah, fuck it, I'll put that on. That looks fucking."
Well,
sick.
it could be a supporter,
or
of the
he knows
community,
something
but,
about it. But
yeah.
but the amount of evidence that some people are going with, some like very non-credible news sources, the amount that they're taking out of it is just based on their own biases, because they could say easily, oh, they had this, and then they only say that, oh, that was present.
Yeah.
But there's no indication how much that influenced it, or any of the other possible situations that could have arisen from that. And even if that was there because they were influenced by it in some way, there's a million other things that can influence people to go off the deep end, including Justin Trudeau's restrictions. So the point is mute at the end of the day when it comes to the arguments.
I'll play devil's advocate for whoever did that. They could be just an uninformed supporter of the community. They thought they were doing something right. They thought they were supporting the community, and they're just uninformed, because we told people already, that's if you're going to go to a protest and you have a plate carrier and you have weapons, don't fly our shit, because it makes us look bad. So it could be just an uninformed supporter of the community. So it is what it is when it comes down to the end of the day. It's not like they contacted Jeremy like, we're rocking your shit. He's like, yeah, do it, buddy. You know, because we've already said, you know, don't fly our shit if you're going to be doing that, because it makes us look bad. We got a bad enough rep as it is. We don't need you adding to it. Keep the patches at home, you know. So it is what it is.
Well, yeah, whatever. I'm seeing some chats in the entropy chat. Jimmy is saying about using different websites and ways to produce your own website. He's saying if they are using ASP.NET, otherwise known as Microsoft or Azure, they're being fucked by Mossad. The data centers for Microsoft cybersecurity are in Tel Aviv, Israel.
Imagine that.
So I wasn't lying earlier when I was making these statements about, a lot of the cybersecurity technologies being situated in Israel and them having access to all your information.
Well, all the big companies, all the big tech. That's where they're moving is Israel, for whatever fucking reason. What was it Microsoft and Facebook and all these huge tech companies are moving their headquarters to Israel for some fucking weird reason. Why Israel? Why is that the tech capital of the world? What you would think would be like Japan, or it would be fucking I don't know, well, not so much Taiwan anymore. But like, if you're gonna move, like, why Israel? What's so special? Like, do they just have that great a fucking technological infrastructure that's the place to fucking be? Why Israel? Like, why? What's the draw?
I think the draw is that there's a new world order going on, and a lot of the people at the top of the tech and biotech and information technology monopolies that are going on in the world, they're situated or they have a power center in Israel.
Fuck,
And
you went down the
especially
fucking
like
conspiracy road hard, dude.
with the construction of 5G, I think it started in Israel with other technologies, and then they have developed it there. And I don't think it's a thing where like most Jews are involved, right? Because that's what they'll try to say as soon as you mention the kind of things that we're talking about right now. And obviously, you don't think that. I think it's more of a thing amongst countries and amongst the global elites, where they're producing these things and they're testing these things out in Israel early on. And then you have people like Epstein who are providing cover, and they are involving people to hush, to be quiet about it, because he has them in his blackmail ring. And I mean people
sure.
like probably Bill Gates in a sense, because Bill Gates is going to Epstein for relationship advice. Now, what does that tell you about Bill Gates?
Yeah.
If you're going to openly, now this is corroborated by mainstream media, that literally Bill Gates is going to the most prolific pedophile blackmailer for Zionist interests, Jeffrey Epstein, and he's going to him for relationship advice. Now, what do you think is happening there? It doesn't take a genius to unravel this fucking super spy sex scandal that's going on a global fucking level.
Well, I mean, okay,
all these people are compromised by their degeneracy.
Oh, fuck, that's a fact.
And it goes, and by the money that's involved. It's very bad.
Another way to look at it too would be like, if you wanted to play the biggest fucking virtue signal you could, you want to go all out, you want the biggest virtue signal you could, you'd side with Israel. You just because there is a giant virtue card. Oh no, we're not racist and we're not supremacists because we have our headquarters in Israel because we're not evil. It's like, yeah, that's not a cop out. That's a bit of a tell that you are actually the racist, pricks that you think that we actually think you are. Possibly, I don't know. I'm just throwing that one out there. That sort of popped in my mind. It could be just a big giant virtue signal.
It's true. It could be. I would say Al Stern has a good comment, and he's saying about the Diagolon patches on the plate carrier. He's saying that after Jeremy and Rance telling everyone to leave the community flags or insignia at home in early February, I highly doubt someone brought a plate carrier with those flags. So, Jeremy and Derek have been telling everybody to be peaceful throughout this whole Freedom Convoy ordeal. But what they're trying to get them on is that they've done or said things on their streams in the past that suggest otherwise. But they're telling their fan base and everybody to be as peaceful as possible in order to cover their own asses.
No.
So if someone was a true Diagolon fan,
that's why I said uninformed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It seems like they're trying to run with some kind of narrative. So it's very possible that it could have been planted because they have done more and been caught for more devious things than this before, right?
Oh, do you want to
Like,
talk about the
example, yeah. Oh, I can imagine there's some stories. I know Grant Bristow was one of the, I think he was second in command in the leading neo-Nazi organization in Canada in the 90s until the leader was getting fucked with and probably arrested. So he became the top and they had to fold because an RCMP CSIS infiltrator was now at the top of the organization. And he was doing some of the worst things out of any of the people in that organization. But he was literally working for CSIS the whole time. Like, not just a snitch. Like, literally an agent for them.
Gross.
So just imagine what could be happening here.
Well, the thing with the RCMP, the reason why most cops, the OPP and municipal police hate the RCMP is because the RCMP fuck up so much, they create this thing called case law. And case law is when the RCMP mess up and it has to go through the courts, and then the courts have to make new rules for the other cops to follow because the RCMP keep fucking up. The other municipalities in the OPP hate the RCMP. Because they're such fuck ups.
Because they keep going too far and fucking things up and all that.
Got it. Case law, check it out.
Okay, for sure. Okay, so we're going to take a bit of a different turn before the end of this stream. We're going to try to keep it below 2 hours. But Nick Fuentes was just a recent subject of a documentary by Louis Theroux, a documentarian, a prolific documentarian for the BBC. And I grew up watching Louis Theroux documentaries, and it introduced me to a whole new world of controversial people and interesting people with views that I had not ever imagined before. And this is me, like, in my teens, watching these documentaries. So now he's interviewing and making the subject of one of his documentaries one of my favorite nationalists and content creators, Nick Fuentes. So I just want to give you a bit of a backdrop of who this Louis Theroux guy is and why I might have been interested in his earlier documentaries. I'm going to go to the washroom quickly, but I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Just with a quick clip, and then I'll be right back.
4 points.
Is he saying that if I, by some quirk of fate, if I was sent into this cell, you'd see me and presumably you would know that I was not cut out to fight? And you're seriously saying
I ain't gonna lie, you might not be fight. They might just slap the shit out you. I'm just being real. Nigga might just slap you on. Nigga might hang out on you. Man, I ain't gonna lie. You might just get potty. You might get bad. Oh man. I'm just giving it to you raw.
You're saying I wouldn't have to fight?
Oh, you gon' have to fight. I'm saying the whole cell might beat you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The whole cell might beat you.
Why?
Shit, that's the code. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You gonna have to figure out why.
Would you be helping?
Now, I might feel sorry for you since I know you're a good man. I might tell them to fall back, but you gonna have to get 1 or 2 rounds in, you feel me? They gonna show off the ripple what kind of person you is eventually. And that week, that day, never know, that month go by, something gonna show, something gonna break. You might be a real nigga too, you feel me? Right? You a real nigga?
What do you think?
Got the box in the house, socket bitches in they mouth. See my neck, ice the fuck out. I'm getting money, nigga. At the fucking mall, 40 bitches on my nutsack. Put up on a motherfucking unicorn. Wolf gang, nigga, scream that to the motherfucker, show me death. Golf wang, nigga, free air, but it shows some motherfucking respect. All this ice around my neck, all this ice around my dick. Gun to her head, make your bitch massage my shoulder. Bitch, suck dick like she suck dick. My bitch suck dick like she suck dick. My bitch suck dick like she suck dick. My bitch suck. Man, I say, man, what happened to Pearson? Check that.
His cellmates seem to find the idea of hot rod checking out quite ludicrous.
Quite unusual how open he is, how unashamed he is.
But 9 times out of 10, if they're a masturbator, habitual masturbator, they don't have no shame anyway. They don't care.
Habitual masturbator. That's a new word. Wow. That's a new word, habitual masturbator.
The habitual
You might be a real nigga too, you feel me? Right.
Like that. Habitual masturbator. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's me in jail.
Masturbate. What's that? Is that you in your room at night?
Yeah, I'm in jail, and then the female guards are just perplexed why I'm such a fucking son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's Louis Theroux, so that is hilarious. I always loved that those guys were like, "Yo, you a real nigga? You a real nigga or what?" And then he would be so nice to them. He'd be like, "Yo, am I a real nigga?"
Yeah.
I remember in that particular one, he went up to the guy who was sleeping in the top bunk because he heard that, like, if you sleep in the top bunk, you're a lower status or something. So he's like, "So why are you sleeping in the top bunk?" And and then he's like pressing the guy on why he's a bitch, essentially. So it's fucking amazing, yeah. Like, he has these kinds of documentaries. So he's being nice. Part of it, the thing is that he's being nice to these people who are obviously like complete scumbags, and it gives you like a view into their world, right?
Right.
So watch this too. So this is kind of a precursor because he thinks that when he's dealing with Nick Fuentes, he's dealing with like he's basically this guy, but he tries to hide it or some faggotry like that. So this is this is a thing called Nazi thinks Louis Theroux is a Jew. So he is so much nicer to these guys than he is to Nick Fuentes and Nick's friends when he's interviewing them.
So if I told you I was Jewish, would that create a problem between us?
Oh, as funny as this is, I would be fucking uncomfortable if somebody started asking if I was a Jew, as if the bloodline that I have.
Very tense. That would be a very tense conversation. Like,
so I understand, but he's treating these guys with kid gloves because part of his thing is that he tries to just be as neutral. He asks pressing questions, of course, to get into their psychology of why they think that way. But at the same time, he's treating these guys with kid gloves, and then, he's probably scared for his life in some sense. To some degree. Probably not that badly, because I don't think they're going to do anything to him when it's obvious that there'll be consequences for that. But at the same time, you should see how he fucking treats Nick Fuentes. Now, I've watched this full documentary that he does on Nick Fuentes. It's called Forbidden America. It just got released a few days ago. I torrented it on Pirate Bay, so I have it. I've watched the whole thing. Though if I play it with the actual BBC stuff, it'll get blocked.
Okay.
It'll get blocked.
Right.
What I do have is I have a clip that somebody edited so that it will be accepted on our stream. Okay? So it might be a bit choppy and crappy, but you can see what's going on here.
So you feel like I'm pushing an agenda?
So the audio might be a bit crap and the video might be a bit warped, but you'll understand. And the point I'm trying to make here, I have it at a specific timestamp, is that this Louis guy just looks like a complete liberal fucking cuck the whole time. and he's just trying to make them look bad with the, you know, typical documentary editing. But never before has Louis looked like such a cuck compared to him trying to make the people that he's talking to look bad, or you know what I mean? Like, it just makes him look kind of like a bitch.
His name is Nicholas J. Fuentes, 22 years old, and even for the...
Oh, and Tyler Russell is in this, by the way.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. Look for him. He's right there in the...
His name is Nicholas J.
I have no
Fuentes,
video.
22...
Oh, sorry. Let me get it to you guys. Thanks for alerting me. There we go.
Yeah, let's go.
2 years old, and even for...
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah, I saw him.
The Republican Party
Tyler's in it actually quite a bit.
banned from their events.
So he's talking about how they're banned from CPAC, as if it's like the scariest thing ever to be banned from Cup.
His name is Nicholas J. Fuentes, 22 years old, and even for the right wing of the Republican Party, and is banned from their events.
I'd like to go to CPAC.
No, you cannot. There are no more tickets on sale.
There's no more tickets. CPAC sucks. It's gay. They're not conservative. Yeah, we're leaving. Yeah, bye-bye.
He just sits there like, oh my goodness. With the mask fully on
with
his
the
face.
whole mask on and everything.
Never before has the liberal documentarian smear looked like such a cock.
Reportedly barred from CPAC. For the last 2 years, Nick has run his own event, AFPAC, the America First Political Action Conference, a short distance away.
I mean, just try to make everything look as scary as possible. I don't need to show that much of it. Though, I do have some funny other things to show. Basically, okay, yeah, I want to look at the YouTube comments because they basically explained how I feel about this. So I have a few that I wrote down here to explain to you. Jared, where's Jared? Okay, Jared Ryan Davis. What did he say? Where are you, Jared? Okay. He says, I fear that Louis let his personal feelings get in the way of this documentary, rather than diving 100% into an objective form of journalism that is genuinely curious about his subjects, thereby capturing candid content, then letting his viewers make up their own mind. Obviously, he did not do that. His documentaries tend to humanize the other, which is why I like them in the first place, obviously.
Right.
But then reinforce that there are no good or bad people, just humans with different upbringings and life circumstances. But this one just feels a bit demonizing and deliberately provocative. It is true, because throughout this whole thing, he was trying to get Nick or Baked Alaska or Beardson or whoever else he tried to smear or interview to admit that they're white nationalists. And I think specifically he did this in this scenario because their arguments are optical, as in they say them in the way that most people can understand, right? Because when Louis is interviewing the neo-Nazis, they're like, are you a Jew? Get out. Fuck you. Right? That's not relatable. That's kind of fucked. But when Nick explains it, he's saying, hey, we don't want the white demographics to become a minority because they're going to treat us like crap. The white majority built this nation. It's made it what it is. It's made it what people want to come here for. If we allow that to get destroyed through mass immigration, we're all going to be fucked. Now, that is not a message that the elites want you to hear, because it is true. It is right on point, and it doesn't indulge in the extremism of maybe some of these neo-Nazi retards that get hyped up on it in their own echo chamber. But it kind of universalizes the struggle, in a sense. Like, it makes it the most palatable for people to understand, despite the smearing and the abjectation and the way that the mainstream media and the establishment tries to demoralize you and atomize you, tries to single you out if you step out of line. No, this Nick Fuentes in America First gives the proper rhetoric for normal people to explain the demographic question. So I think they're really scared of that. And that's why Louis, for once, he's not trying to humanize the other like the neo-Nazis where he's sucking up to, or the guys when he's in the Miami mega jail and they're like, are you a real nigga, Louis? You want to get the shit kicked out of you by 20 niggas at once and shit? And he's like, oh. But now that he's interviewing Nick Fuentes, Baked Alaska, and all his friends, he's trying extra hard to smear them, to put their feet to the fire, to tell them that they're pieces of shit.
So instead of humanizing the other, he's demonizing the other.
Yes,
he's doing the opposite.
Perfect way to put it. Yes, that's a perfect, simple way to put it. Let's see some other comments that I noted down. It says, okay, so 2017.
I think any group of people should get.
I think Baked Alaska actually makes a good point here. I think Baked Alaska did somewhat of a good job. They used this past against him, and I think they went after Baked because he's more of an entertainer within the movement with shock comedy. So they used his shock comedy to try to say you're a piece of shit. And then he couldn't really explain himself as well as somebody like Nick or Vincent James could. Like other more responsible, more intellectual people within the America First movement. So they picked specifically on Baked and this other guy, Beardson Beardley. But anyways, let's see what Baked has to say.
In America, okay? If I said Jews suck, I don't think any group of people should get a free pass. I disagree with that. What do you disagree with? Well, the idea that the same rules should apply to all races, like where historically white people have been in power. You know, a lot of it is to do with...
Okay, so the same rules don't apply to white people. Right, so this is just the default of the liberal brain, where... yeah,
holy
you could say,
shit.
Yeah, white people aren't afforded that because of their past. Well, their past of what necessarily? They say racism and slavery of the past. Well, we were the ones to abolish. Whites were the ones to abolish it.
By the way, just so you know,
and also
Britain was the first nation to do
African slave drivers were selling their slaves to American slave drivers. We abolished it before they did. We forced other people to abolish it. And I don't mean we as in I'm a part of that. I'm just saying you're trying to pin the collective guilt on me for also being white. So now I have to say we in defense. You see what position that's put me in? Do I necessarily want to be put in that position? But now I've been forced to do it in order to defend myself because I am being robbed of my civil rights by saying that I can't have the same job if there's affirmative action involved because I have been decided as a privileged person simply because of the color of my skin. Does that make any sense to anybody who actually wants real equity?
No.
So what Basic Gestalt saying about what Baked Alaska just said is, I don't think, he's quoting, I don't think any group of people should get a free pass. And then Louis saying, I disagree with that. And then this guy is saying, what do you disagree with? Well, the idea that the same rules should apply to all races, as Louis said. And this guy goes on to say that this is the fundamental ideological disagreement of our time. And the disagreement is that whites have collective rights just like all the other groups, like blacks, Mexicans. They all have their own minority rights that are allotted to them. But who is allotting these rights to them and who is in control of the different groups within multiculturalism and who is allowed to have a collective voice. Now, you should all be individualists, or you can have an amount of individualism where, hey, you get your individual rights, but we also acknowledge that we're part of a collective. Which I can understand if blacks want to say, hey, we're black and we have these interests. But you can't tell whites that they can't have those same interests too for themselves. Now, what you need to be fostering is respect amongst these different collectives, going back and forth in a way that has credence and has obvious reference to the truth. You have to have the truth involved. You have to have real statistics. You have to be not delving into weird double standards where it says this group can do this because of this some arbitrary excuse that is being pushed down upon us by the media or something. No, you have to have real truth and real logic where it actually makes sense, and then it's universal in some way. So this is, yes, the fundamental ideological disagreement of our time, and it's why we are being targeted and why white people are being the targets of a soft genocide, essentially.
Well, I'm still blown away by his comment, which is basically racist. I don't want to. I'm not a racist.
It's as simple as that in the end. Now, I could understand if what he was saying was actually true, that white people were actually organized white people, white supremacy, white privilege were the facilitators of other people's oppression, but that's simply not true. There is no organized whiteness. In fact, any semblance of organized white people will be absolutely crushed.
Oh, 100%.
And then when you look at how other groups are able to organize in that sense, they're propped up. They're given hundreds of $1 million for BLM, even though their protests are not as peaceful as they say. 30 people died in the summer of mostly peaceful protests in 2020 after George Floyd's death, and then billions of dollars of damages and fires and complete anti-white hatred being fomented and upheld by the establishment and the media.
Well,
who's the one being oppressed at that point?
Exactly. So there's and not only that, it's so general too. All the Indians, and we're gonna prop them up. Which tribe? The Iroquois, the Micmac, the Maliseet, the Blackfoot,
it doesn't matter to them.
Which ones?
As long
doesn't matter.
It's anti-white and anti-traditional.
Prop it up. What about the African Americans? Which tribe? What country? What dialect? No, they just all lumped into one, and we support them all. But I mean, when you look at the both whites, or when I say European, I don't even say white. I say European. English, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, Ukrainian, Russian. We do have our own collectives within our own communities, but it's not the same thing where we're just all lumped into one. They don't lump us. They lump everyone else into one, but they don't lump us into one. No. You can't have your own little clique. You can't have your own little clique where it's just your skin color. No. But so
that's the semantics that they apply, right? Because they'll say, hey, you could say you're Scottish or you're German, but you can't say you're white. But black people, when do you ever see this is the Somalian rights group?
Rare.
Specifically.
Rare.
Yeah. It's always Black Lives Matter, and it's always
which ones?
Some grievance industry that is run not by the blacks themselves, but by another ethno-racial group, NGO.
NGO. Just say
that
NGO.
Is redirecting their hatred towards white people.
Yeah. Just say NGO. Yep. Works for me.
New something order. NGO. No. No goys over here.
Yeah. New goy.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah. That's
okay. Well, here's one more. It says CLVN KLN is saying Louis interviewed the KKK. True. Nazis, South African racists, criminals of every sort, overtly hateful preachers calling for hellfire for gays. But this is the first time I've seen him openly contemptuous of his subjects. He seems more disgusted by the idea of being a Trump supporter. For the first time, he can separate his personal feelings. It erodes the quality of his work.
Yeah.
I think that's a fucking amazing comment.
Yeah, it's true. That's like, it's obvious.
It's very true. Very true. Yeah. Like, he had like a disgust towards the subjects of this documentary. Now, I would recommend if people want to watch this, they could either watch it on cozy.tv and watch Nick Fuentes react to it personally. I haven't seen that yet, but I just went on Pirate Bay and I downloaded Louis Theroux Forbidden America.
White man bag over.
Yeah, White Man, and I watched the whole hour and it was ridiculous. Like, so basically, Louis Theroux spent the whole documentary. At first, he had to obviously interview Nick, and Nick looked amazing in it because they tried to smear him, but it's Nick Fuentes. So
it's Nick Fuentes. Good luck.
So who else is involved at the intellectual top of the America First movement? Vincent James, Michelle Malkin. So apparently, Vincent James was interviewed. Was not featured once.
Really?
In this hour-long documentary. He's one of the top people in the America First movement. Also,
that's Red Elephant, right? That's his Red Elephant.
That used to be his YouTube before
that was his YouTube.
It got deleted at hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
Yeah.
Very good Christian, intellectual guy, Vincent James.
Very, very.
And Michelle Malkin and John Miller are two non-white political commentators that were featured in AFPAC 2, which is the conference that Louis Theroux filmed for this documentary. So I think there was like 5 or 6 speakers. So literally like almost a quarter to a half of the speakers are literally non-white. Yet Louis Theroux spends so much of this documentary trying to get Baked Alaskan Beardson, like, and Nick Fuentes to say that they are white nationalists and to like admit it, as if like to admit to this label that he's trying to put upon them, that according to Louis Theroux's own logic doesn't even have any meaning, because he already thinks that that's what they are, right? He thinks that because they think that America should stay a majority white for various different reasons, that they're automatically white nationalists. So he spends the rest of the documentary trying to get them to admit that they're white nationalists? Okay, well, I think we're just running in circles here. And it seems like a desperate attempt to emotionally manipulate the normies that are watching your documentary to paint the narrative that these guys won't admit what they are. What? A white nationalist? What? How do you?
Well, which is no different. Which is no different than him saying, "Well, I'm not a racist, so I don't want to say if I'm Jewish or not."
Well, why don't you get them to admit that they're a white majoritarian? You could actually get them to admit that, because that's kind of what they're saying.
He's doing again, though. He's doing the same thing that the Nazi white supremacists tried to do to him, trying to get him to either say one way or the other if he was Jewish or not. It's the same tactic. Only he's doing it. Yeah, only he's doing it.
That's a great point. Holy shit. There was also a hilarious like showdown where I guess this guy Beardson, while he was in the car driving up to AFPAC, he did something like this. He did 2 things like that, where he did a salute from his head and then a straight arm out. So then Louis was pressing him at his home to say, "You were doing a Nazi salute. 100%. And then they argued about that, and it became a huge showdown where they're like, "Are you telling me that I did a Nazi salute? You piece of shit. Fuck you. Get out of my house." And it's like, this is not a substantive argument of what's going on. It's like you are accusing a guy of doing, I guess, a Nazi salute like that, may or may not have been a joke. The guy's probably lying to you anyways. He probably meant it as a joke to trigger someone like you. And it's just a bunch of nonsense going forward. So I could give Beardson and Baked Alaska some credit if they were trying to troll him with that. But at the same time, I would think that they also didn't handle him as well by, like, they were spazzing out and kicking him out of their property. And, you know, it wasn't as eloquent as if they interviewed Vincent James. And there's one thing I want to say, too, is that throughout this whole documentary, like I said, at least a quarter to a half of all the AFPAC speakers were not even white. And they're trying to call them white nationalists. You did not see a single John Miller image in this documentary. Literally one of the speakers and friends of the AFPAC, of the America First crew, or Michelle Malkin. Michelle Malkin is easily the most famous person out of any of the people involved in this movement. And she spoke at AFPAC. She was at this event where Louis Theroux was filming, doing his documentary. Michelle Malkin is easily one of the most well-known conservatives. And she has stuck her neck out for this America First movement. She is Vietnamese. She's a cute Vietnamese, like, 50-year-old woman who's very passionate about American nationalism. Yet she was not even mentioned or even shown. I thought that at the very least, Louis Theroux would be like, there are some people of color in this movement, but things make me wonder whether they're just there for Nick Fuentes to say that he's not racist, or what?
Or the token.
There was literally not
token.
even like, he didn't even try to pretend like they were used as tokens, like I thought a liberal might do. He just completely erased them. He just erased them. Don't want to talk about it.
It
don't
detracts
want even
from
that. I don't want that to infect my own propaganda.
Exactly. Detracts from it. Detracts from the point he's trying to make. So if you show it like, oh, people may get the wrong idea and actually think they're not racist, so we can't show them at all. We just can't show them at all because
100%. That's what.
Yeah,
happened,
that's what it is. Yeah. You're over your 2-hour mark, by the way.
No, that's fine. I'm just gonna check out the some of the comments and see what they're saying, and then I think we'll wrap it up.
All right, buddy. Colbert's mom, she says, I just sneezed. I'm a COVID spreading white nationalist. W word.
It's okay. You can sneeze
Horrible.
on me, baby. We'll fucking
Whatever.
A COVID party together. It's like a chicken pox party, but for.
Oh, is it chicken pox for two? A chicken pox party for two?
Yeah, sneeze in
I
my
think.
mouth, bitch. Okay, what else is going on?
Oh my fuck. She'd wreck you. Oh, that's hilarious. Sneeze
Why
in my
are you
mouth, baby.
simping for her?
Oh, sneeze. I'm no, dude. I'm trying to fucking get you hooked up, bro. Trying to hook you up, bro. But I just think facts are facts.
Yeah,
Facts are facts,
Jimmy is saying the Nazi salute is very specific, and I agree. Like, the guy did this. Now, he was probably being cheeky about it, but, like, from what I know, the Nazi salute is, "Argh!" And then you yell some random German or something.
We all know
it has to come from here.
From the
right?
heart. It's got to come from the heart.
It's got to come from the. It can't be like, because what Beardson was doing, because they have the 07 thing, and then it's like, okay, so if you straighten your arm out all the way, now
07, yeah. 07.
Bro, he was probably
07.
baiting that. So
07.
everything that was going on in the documentary was incredibly stupid, because it's like, Beardson, you were making a joke where you were trying to bait that, so why don't you just admit it? And then at the same time, he gets so pissed off that he kicks Louis off his property. Because he keeps accusing him of like doing that, and he's so dead set on not admitting it. And it's
every
like,
time you say hi,
stupid.
every time a first grader, whenever they say, Jimmy, are you here? And they go, present. That's a Roman salute, just so you know. Every time you say hi, every time someone says your name and they wave to you, hi, and you go, hi, that's a Roman salute. Is a Roman.
I thought that's what it meant. It was like, hi, Hitler. Hi, Hitler.
Basically,
Hello.
yeah, that's what it's from. We all know where the word hi comes from. Hi, every time you wave hi, that's a Roman salute. The father said to the three brothers, "Who's going to defend the honor of my daughter?" And all three of them raised their hand out for a sword. It's to say, "Present, I'm here, I will do it." That's what it is. That's what the Roman salute is, basically. That's where Hitler got it from. It's just every time you say hi, hello, Jimmy over here, present. That's a Roman salute, people.
Present. Okay.
Present.
Well, so I have a few people here. They say clipped. So we've been clipped. Trust me.
You've been clipped, my friend.
Clipped.
They don't give a fuck about me.
I was doing lateral arm extensions.
Lateral arm extensions. That's it. That's what it was, right? That time Edgy D fucking did the Roman salute on his own stream.
I tried to do my own exercise show and I got canceled. Okay?
That's
this
it.
is fucking bullshit.
That's it.
Another L for the white race. It's just because
you're doing knife hands, bro.
Right?
You're doing a knife hand. That was a knife hand. That's what it was. You're practicing your martial arts, trying to impress people. I see what it is.
So now let's check out the YouTube comment.
Like that's gonna be fucking wild. That time your show got canceled off YouTube.
Yeah, well, what is Jesus LaJesus? Don't you find it suspect that Nick did this in the first place? And he's saying it's weird that Baked isn't rotting in solitary confinement somewhere. Okay, well, yeah, I think it's just Nick has an affinity towards his friends, which include Baked Alaska and Beardson. Baked Alaska was arrested after the January 6th Capitol riots and stuff. What I watched Baked Alaska live as he was entering the Capitol, and it was, to me, it seemed almost very innocent, where it was just like, "Hey, we're in the Capitol, bro." Yo, like he picked up Nancy Pelosi's phone and he's just like, "Yo, Trump, base department," and it was making all these jokes like, "We've got a stolen election." So he was very like jovial. He wasn't doing anything violent. He was telling people not to destroy things. And yes, he was in solitary confinement for a few weeks. Do you think that they're just going to keep torturing him even though he did nothing? What they're doing is they're keeping people who actually breached like the entrances and who like fought the cops, and they have evidence of that for longer. And do I think that's okay? No, it's the worst witch hunt in recent history. They're complete political prisoners and they should all be freed. No police died. Ashley Babbitt died at the hands of a Capitol officer. And they lied. The media lied incessantly about violence perpetuated from the supposed insurrectionists. They said that a bunch of crazed Trump supporters beat in Officer Brian Sicknick's head with a fire extinguisher. Never happened. This guy died randomly a few days later of his own strokes. Strokes in which his own Capitol officers and superiors probably weren't even looking out for him enough. So it's probably more their fault than the actual rioters that this guy even had strokes a couple days later. Yet the Rolling Stone, for weeks after, and then all other mainstream media news outlets, pushed a story that Trump supporters beat police officers to death with a fire extinguisher in a crazed Trump mega mob of QAnon or something retarded like that. Never happened. They lied about it. They never retracted it properly so that people understood that they lied about it. And then they just pushed the narrative forward. So, do I think Baked snitched over that? No. He didn't do enough. He wasn't being the Ray Epps. He called out Ray Epps, if anything. He wasn't being an instigator of violence, so I don't see any reasons why they would hold him as like a prime prisoner.
It's almost like the Nuremberg trials, where some people hung and some people got let go, and they were like, and then they still got hunted down anyways with the witch hunt. As it is. Right. By the way, just so you know, Colbert mom says she's going to Photoshop some weights in your hands for you, buddy. Just so it looks like you
some weights. Okay, yeah. So
yeah, it's because you're Yeah, you had
Maybe
weights in your.
Please
Yeah,
don't
that's-
Photoshop a dildo in my hand.
That's probably would be way funnier.
Yeah, so now that I've said it, it's probably gonna happen.
Yeah.
Either way,
Dildo
yeah.
in your hand. That'd be fucking hilarious. Please
Yeah.
do. Send it to everyone.
Fuck all of you. So yeah, I would say a baked Alaska, not a fad. I would say though, Nick Fuentes, maybe he could have told Beardson and Baked Alaska to not be involved in this documentary, because Louis was looking around for the worst possible people that he could interview to make them all look bad. They interviewed Vincent James. They obviously didn't use that because it looked too good and he was too logical.
Yeah.
So maybe Nick, seeing as that the documentary was about his movement, maybe he should have told Beardson, why don't you take a back seat on this one? Baked Alaska, why don't you just not allow Louis to come around while you're doing your live stream where people give donations to spam the N-word and funny like meme racist songs and shit.
Yeah.
while you go survival mode while there's a racist song trying not to get yourself beat up.
Probably.
We know why that's funny. We know why these IRL streamers, these in real life streamers, they go into a situation and then they have a song playing that's super offensive and then they have to survive despite that. They have to like deal with that situation. That's funny. That's really good, intense content that you're not going to get elsewhere.
Right.
So, this Louis cuck pretending like it's the worst thing in the world, we know that that's bullshit. But maybe don't have him following around and then have Baked Alaska.
Probably not a good idea.
Poorly explaining what's going on.
You don't send your ninth or 10th of in command to fight a liberal cunt. That was probably a bad move. I probably but I mean maybe Nick thought it's none of my business. Maybe like a free agents type deal. Like it is what it is.
Right. Well, the doc is saying I think Beardson was justified. I imagine most people would be angry if they were accused of being a Nazi.
I was fucking pissed. I was pissed. Fucking Vosh, the fucking cocksucker. Fuck him.
Yeah. Vosh accused you. Vosh is the worst.
Cause I'm fucking bald. That's why. Cause I'm bald. Give me a break, you optic fuck.
Right. So I agree with that, but I also think Beardson handled it badly. Though I do think that they also could have just been editing things he was saying. So it's very difficult to differentiate, what his actual responses were and what they chopped it up as. Because there was many times where they were interviewing Nick, and I saw, I was listening to what he was saying, and I was like, okay, he's hitting all the proper points. And then I saw cut. And then the next thing he's saying is something that I know is completely unrelated. I'm like, oh, I see what you did there. That's fucked up. That is not at all. Like, the normie is not going to understand that. But I know what you did there.
Right.
And it was completely taking different contexts within that one single cut there. You just skipped. But yeah. I agree with that. Let's wrap it up here. I'll check what the entropy chat is saying.
Colbert's mom was asking, what's the website you said to watch the Louis Nick doc?
Go on Pirate Bay and download it. So you have to torrent it. That's how I found it.
You said there was a website you could use, wasn't Nick Fuentes' website where he watches it live?
Oh yeah. So if you want to watch Nick Fuentes react to it, go on cozy.tv and then just go to Nick Fuentes' profile. And then you could go look at the replays, and then you could watch him reacting to it. I haven't seen it yet, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, because I always like it when Nick reacts to these kinds of things. I think he has pretty good commentary. I think he's probably going to cope for Baked Alaska and Beardson's appearances. He's going to defend them, and I'm like, I don't know.
Well, right? We'll see.
But at the same time, it's like, what can you really do? It's like, we'll see. Yeah, so I'm interested either way. I'm a huge fan of Nick, and whether I agree with everything he does, I'm a supporter, and I believe in what he's doing.
Right on.
And he's a young guy, just like me. So I see, like me, I see him
Very
having what?
Very young.
Very young.
Very
Well,
young. Very young. Very young. Yes.
Compared to you, Slippin, maybe.
Fucking right, bro. Fucking right. Don't call me Uncle Slippy for nothing, It's okay.
Well, we got the Boomer Waffin with me here tonight. So
the Boomer Waffin, what the fuck?
Yeah, the Boomer Waffin, yes. You're Slippin' Lizard. You want to do the January 6th for Canada, though, right?
No, it was Derek. Don't fucking throw me under the bus. That was Derek.
I heard
man.
it on the news. No, you were.
I heard it on the news. It was on the news. That's right. Well, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. It was
coming on, Slippin'.
That was a good time. Good time. You find me on Bigots Corner. I'm streaming Thursday nights at 8:00. Mr. Trev Lee is still doing Bigots Corner at Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Both on Bigots Corner's channel. I do Offside. Mr. Trev Lee does Breakaway. We're trying a new thing, so check us out there. Always a pleasure, Edgy. Love you, bro. My man, to the chat, to everyone that came out tonight.
Good to have you on, man. If everyone could just smash that like button.
Definitely.
If you enjoyed this, smash the like button on YouTube to get it up there. Thanks for everybody for showing up on Entropy. It's good to have you all. And I'll see you all next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. EST. Given that Justin Trudeau does not shut the whole internet down with his Emergency Act. That could always be a possibility, but it was great to have you all here tonight, and we'll see you all again. Thanks for showing up, guys. 07, boys. Have a good night.